Another week of sports, another week of Todd's Odds with our friend Todd Fuhrman. This segment brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Todd, the Colorado Avalanche had won 6 straight games going into Wednesday, looking very much like the Stanley Cup champions they are. My question for you, Todd, is have we missed that sweet Colorado Avalanche betting window?
You know, honestly, Jay, I think we have. We've seen those prices come crashing down. All of us trying to figure out when this team was finally going to get healthy. And even as of Wednesday night, they don't have their full complement of weapons. We're hoping that Cale Makar can rejoin the team sooner rather than later to bolster that blue line. We still don't know when Gabriel Landeskog will get full clearance, but clearly a scary outfit, mainly because they play in the Western Conference. They don't have to go through the gauntlet of every team in the East that feels like they've completely armed up in anticipation of the trade deadline. So until further notice, the road goes through Colorado, but don't overlook those Oilers. If Connor McDavid finds a way to play 60 minutes a night, Jay, I really like Edmonton's chances in the Western Conference.
I like San Jose's chances of winning games when Erik Karlsson can play 60 minutes a night. He's the leading candidate for the Norris Trophy. He has been all year, though. The odds have tightened up a little bit, more than almost any other major category in terms of the Norris Trophy. Does playing for San Jose actually hurt Erik Karlsson's chances to win another Norris? And who could potentially chase him down?
Yeah, I definitely think it can hurt his chances. You're talking about a team that's going to finish one spot better in the standings than the Anaheim Mighty Ducks right now. You look at the San Jose roster, they've dealt a couple of key cogs, Timo Meier to the Devils, Mikey Eyssimont ends up in Tampa. So clearly this is a team that's not going to score a ton of goals. Now, maybe that allows Erik Karlsson to freelance and continue to stockpile points of the goals and assist variety. But when I look at his numbers here at a shade less than 1 to 2, I think there are some other compelling candidates. And 2 guys that have caught my eye with double-digit price tags, one in Winnipeg and Josh Morrissey. If he can guide the Jets to the playoffs amid their recent swoon, I think he gets serious consideration. But a guy that could come from off the beaten path would be Rasmus Dahlin. You're talking about one of the best stories in sports if Buffalo is able to end their 11-year postseason drought and the face of their blue line going forward. I think it's going to be a compelling narrative for voters to rally behind, even if Erik Karlsson continues to put up video game-like numbers.
It looks like the Dalai Lama has arrived. Okay, so you're taking a look at that postseason picture, Todd. I know you do it every day. Is there a team outside of the playoff picture looking in at this point that's worth making a bet on heading into this postseason?
I actually have 2 for you, Jay. One in the Eastern Conference and one in the Western Conference. And I feel like this segment should be sponsored by the Alberta Bureau of Tourism for all the time we spend talking about the Calgary Flames. But I'm not abandoning ship just yet. When you look at their price tag right now, I have them closer to about a 61 to 62% probability to get into the postseason. And you look at the numbers and they don't quite reflect that. I think this is a Calgary team. If they get a semblance of goaltending, will be just fine. The problem is I'm not sure I have a ton of confidence in Dan Vladar and Jacob Markstrom for the way they've played, but their schedule gets extremely favorable down the stretch, and I really feel like Calgary crashes the back half of the playoff picture. And in the Eastern Conference, I'm not ready to write off the Florida Panthers just yet. They've been doing battle without their top 2 centers in Sasha Barkov and Sam Bennett over the last couple games, but we've seen them at their best. The last 2 meetings against Tampa showed what this team's ceiling looks like. And while it's not going to be an easy track to get into the Eastern Conference playoffs, I don't feel the odds truly reflect what this team has in terms of its overall ceiling. So I'll make a case for the Panthers as an underdog to get into the East and the Flames as a favorite to finally start to realize their potential in the West.
Fascinating first season as head coach for Paul Maurice in Florida. This is Todd Fuhrman. And Todd, you got my memo, obviously. You wore the same jacket as me today, and that makes me so happy.
You know, honestly, Jay, they tell me if you want to try and dress the right way, you have to dress like where you want to go. And instead of me sitting in my lowly office, someday in my immediate future, hopefully, I'll be surrounded by a beautiful studio, much like you get to partake in every single night.
Dream big, folks. Dream big like Todd.